Hey,
Guys,
what is up?
what's up?
Welcome back. Um, After a week of um, processing. What movie did we watch last week?
Fear and
I'm so
Loathing in Las Vegas.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. We're back and we're ready. We're ready to go at it. We're ready to attack a different film.
Very
It's a
different
classic.
film.
I'm Yoav Akiva,
I'm Melina Nazarian,
and this is a
one
one-on-one
on one
ratio
ratio
pod.
pod.
The podcast where we talk about everything, especially mother-daughter relationships.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say we talk about everything but movies.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a given
Yeah,
because we
yeah, yeah.
hate movies. Movies are
Obviously.
stupid. It's one of those things in popular culture that I just don't understand. Like how come people watch those?
It's so pointless. Like, why would I waste my
Wouldn't
time watching a movie when I could be playing Roblox?
yeah. Minecraft, um,
Sims.
Red Dead Redemption.
Mm-hmm.
I know someone that likes those ones very well.
Nope.
Um, and he's not answering you, is he?
No, he's not.
Um,
He's being a little
today,
bitch.
today we are talking about the 1978 film Autumn Sonata, or
This
as
one
I like to
is
call it, or as I like to call it, Autumn Sonatum. And it's directed by Ingmar Bergman, and it's your first Bergman film, so there's a lot to process, I'm sure. But we'll get to it
we'll
after
get to
some
it.
movie news.
Hell yeah.
Do you want to start? Should we just hop into the movie news?
Yeah, let's hop in.
So not a lot happened this week in terms
No.
of movies, but something happened that was incredibly momentous to kick us off early in the week. Kyle MacLachlan, he joined Letterboxd.
That's crazy, guys. Woo!
And he released a list of sorts. Let me just pull it up. Obviously, Kyle MacLachlan is known for Blue Velvet, Twin Peaks, Showgirls. Um, then it- he's been in a bunch of stuff.
Most recently, Fallout.
Isn't he from Inside Out
Yes, he
as
voices
well?
the dad in Inside Out.
You did. Oh, guys, and my mom joined Letterboxd, so go follow my mom.
Oh my God, I will be doing that.
Yep.
Let's do
Um,
that.
Apocalypse Now, Blade Runner, The Duelists, and Das Boot are the Kyle MacLachlan top four. And he made a really interesting list. He made lists for his famous characters, and one of them was for Dale Cooper.
No.
You got Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me and Blue Velvet, which is interesting that he would put his own Anatomy of Murder, Loretta, so all these investigative
I
films.
wonder though if he
Waitress,
actually runs it.
probably.
You
I feel
think he
like it's a
does?
very low, I feel like it's a very low stakes social media, like, you know?
Yeah, I guess so.
My mom's top four, I believe,
Oh, I see her
is
top four.
Princess Bride, Thelma and Louise, um, The Godfather, and When Harry Met Sally.
Boom, I followed her just now.
Pretty good, pretty good list.
Hell yeah.
Um, Welcome Kyle and Mom.
Yes, welcome to the app. What a beautiful app. On a drastic change of pivot, um, Civil War has passed Uncut Gems and has become A24's second highest grossing film in the domestic box office, right behind Everything Everywhere All at Once. So,
Nice.
will it pass Everything Everywhere All at Once? Don't know, we'll see.
Well, they did cater this film to major audiences.
Mm-hmm.
I keep on seeing like posters all over my area for the movie, and it's just like,
Right.
yeah.
Whatever.
Um,
I don't
it's
particularly care all that much, but I
it seems
just,
like they're just marketing it as just an old action movie. I wish it
yeah,
was a little more. I'm not going to see it. I'm sorry.
same.
Not my cup of tea. Production wraps on Severance season 2. Guys, if you don't know this, me and Meli are big Severance fans,
Hell yeah. We love it.
and I am waiting to see the downfall of what's the company's name? Is there a name to the company that they work at?
Yes. Yes, there is.
I forgot what
Um,
it is. I'm ready to see their
shit.
downfall. The first season of Severance is like perfect. Like I got no complaints about the first season of Severance.
No,
What a
same. It's
brilliant
actually it's so
remember.
good.
Like they use a minimalistic
Lumen.
Lumen, yeah. They use like a minimalistic kind of look and a minimalistic um like production design and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then they like go head on with this really heady, crazy concept and just works. It's so great. I love Severance. Looking forward to season 2. I will be
Me
seeing you there
too.
day one.
This one is kind of funny. Aaron Sorkin is writing a movie
Oh
about
no.
the January 6th insurrection on the US Capitol, and he describes it as a quasi sequel to The Social Network.
What? That's so weird.
I don't know what to think. I personally don't think we
Who's
need
the
him.
protagonist in this situation? Is it about Mark Zuckerberg? Mark
Maybe.
Zuckerberg was at the January 6th fight.
I I just don't think we need a movie about the insurrection because I
We
don't know how
might.
you would go about that, but I don't think we need one. At
There's
least not
probably
now.
there's probably a way to do it, but
But
I don't
not
know. It feels
now.
really fresh and not now. Yeah. Um, Aaron Sorkin. I took his master class once. You know the master classes.
Yeah.
I took his master class once. He's a cool guy. His screenplays are very tight. That's
Mm-hmm.
what he's famous for. So he's a cool guy. He wrote last thing I think I remember watching of his was Trial of Chicago 7,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
that won Oscar year, and then it won nothing, didn't it?
Yep. Pretty much.
With Sacha Baron Cohen,
And Jeremy Strong.
which you saw Sacha Baron Cohen movie this week, didn't you?
We'll talk about
But we'll
it.
talk about it. Um, so Paul Schrader solicits Taylor Swift stories, saying there's a movie there. Do you think Paul Schrader is gonna make a movie based on a Taylor Swift story?
I hope not. I really hope not.
Why is Paul Schrader a fan of Taylor Swift? I, I'm done with this Taylor Swift bullshit. Yeah, I put, you know how you can block things by like keywords on Instagram?
Yeah.
I put that on my homepage for Taylor Swift and JoJo Siwa.
I did that for
I'm
Taylor
sorry.
Swift too.
JoJo Siwa was funny, but now it's not funny anymore. Now every time I see her, like a course of hatred runs through my veins.
I
I
so
just think
get it.
she's just awful. I just hate her.
No more
I
karma's a
just
bitch.
no Karma's no longer a bitch. Karma's just Karma by Pharaoh Sanders is what
Yeah.
you should be listening to, not Karma by Jojo Siwa.
All right.
Yes.
Next piece of news. Brian Tyree Henry joins Michael Gondry's new film alongside Kelvin Harrison Jr., Divine Joy
Who's
Randolph,
Michael
and
Gondry? Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to cut your flow.
Michael Gondry is a French filmmaker who has directed movies like Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind.
Oh,
Yes.
why did I think that was okay? I thought that was the director of Amelie or something. Okay.
No. But
Yes.
so yeah, Brian Tyree Henry
Divine.
joins Kelvin.
Divine. Divine Joy
Yes,
Randolph.
Divine Joy Randolph, Halle Bailey, Calvin Harris Jr., and the film
Ooh.
is a coming-of-age musical set in 1977 Virginia Beach that draws inspiration from, hear me out, I don't know what this has to do with anything, Pharrell Williams' childhood.
Pharrell Williams. Who's for the happy if you know it had
Yeah,
cap along if you are you for real?
yeah.
Wow, I was excited until you said that.
I don't know what that
I'm not gonna
means,
lie to
but
you.
we'll see.
Why? That's so weird. Divine Joy Randolph's and more stuff.
Yeah.
Woo!
Same with Brian
I'll be
Tyree Henry.
watch
I really like him.
I'll be watching it just for Divine though. That's great. She's great.
She is
Looking
great.
forward to that. That's
Hmm.
cool. Speaking of A24 from earlier, you remember A24 from earlier?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, they did the whole re-release of Uncut Gems and Hereditary and Ex Machina in IMAX, and I've just been thinking about the rise of IMAX recently. Some prestigious IMAX releases recently.
Hmm.
Think it's cool. I think it's really cool. And I read this thing that was like the key to getting like people back in theaters is re-releases and like young
Hmm.
audiences back in theaters is like re-releases. Think about how much money the Studio Ghibli re-releases draw in every year. Like the Midsommar thing was popular. Like I think getting movies like such as like Get Out or that kind of stuff can really get like not old movies, but like a 2010s 2000s space
Yeah.
movies, getting them in 4K restorations on IMAX and just trying, I think that might be the key to bring people back because then people will actively go to the theater. People will actively go to the theater to go see Get Out on the big screen because that's not an opportunity they get all the time. They can't wait till it gets to streaming because it already is on streaming. But this is like, you know,
Hmm.
I saw an article that was like, that's the key to getting the youth back in. But we'll get to it. But Luca Guadagnino and Challengers, I think, is the future, which also had an IMAX release. I think is a big part of the future of
Hmm.
that future as well.
We'll
So
talk
we'll
about
talk
that.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that it for movie
Do
news?
you have another one?
No.
I wrote about the Beetlejuice trailer. Did you watch that? Beetlejuice, new Beetlejuice film. All right, then watch it. It looks bad. I don't like it.
Okay. All right.
Um,
I'm sure it's
what
not
did
the
you
best.
what did you watch this week though?
What did I watch this week? All right. I
Yeah.
watched, I believe, three things.
Mhm.
First up, I, oh my God, guys. Okay, I'm gonna leave this as the last one. I watched The Big Lebowski. Um, and it was so
Hey,
fun.
let's show everyone my poster.
Oh, he's stuck. Oh, hell yeah. And I see David Byrne.
Do you get it? Do you guys get it? Do you get it?
Um, is
It's
that
you
like the
can't really
bowling
see
thing?
the fine details, but what it is it's a hardwood floor and then a missing carpet, like a missing carpet. And then here is the peace stain. And if you guys don't know, that's like the inciting incident of the movie is this guy's
Oh,
carpet that's stolen. It's
that's a good
incredibly unfortunate.
poster.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My
No,
grand
yeah.
my grandma
That's
got
really
it for me.
cool.
Yeah.
So watched The Big Lebowski. Had a lot of fun with that one. I would
It is so
definitely,
fun. It's
yeah,
so yeah, it's
100,
great.
like a lot of fun. Um,
Worth the
yeah,
hype.
Worth, I agree. I agree. Definitely worth the hype. A lot of parts I was laughing out loud, you know. Um,
Yeah,
then I rewatched Bruno with my friends, because well, the first time I watched it with one of my friends, and then I rewatched it with the same friend and then three other friends because we wanted to show them the movie. And it was definitely an experience. Yeah, gotta love Bruno. Then I watched a documentary called Tickled.
I've heard of this.
Oh
I've heard of this.
my,
I saw Meli watch it, and I was like, that is such a Meli thing to
oh
do. That is
my
such a
God.
Meli thing to do.
So let me give you a
You know,
quick little
you had to
rundown.
actively open the streaming service that you watched that on and press on it.
Yeah,
It seemed crazy.
it is.
It seemed
So for
kinky,
it is. For
kinky and
y'all
weird.
that don't know what Tickled is, basically, it's about this like New Zealand, this documentarian from New Zealand, and he wants to do like this kind of, I guess, documentary on the professional ticklings, it's like a professional tickling league, like it's sport, whatever. And basically, like throughout the documentary, like he starts to uncover like all these nasty and horrific things about this company that holds this like tickling sport competition thing, and it's like so weird, and like obviously it's like fetish like
Yeah.
entertainment, and it's like total like, it's like to get people off, but like, oh my God, like the shit you learn. And then he starts getting threatened with his life, and they're gonna hire a hitman on him. and
What?
and they find out that the documentarian is like bisexual or gay or something. And
Uh,
they find out about that, and they're like, we don't allow homos in here, even though what they're doing is very gay because they have men strapped down and other men straddling them and tickling them. I don't, you just got to go watch it for yourself. Honestly, it was very interesting.
Interesting. Sometimes it's interesting to know, to like see kind of the underbelly of weird like industries.
Yeah.
I guess that would be classified under porn, you know,
I mean,
some
the
kind of
content that they were
porno.
making for sure.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting.
That's it.
I watched Monty Python's The Meaning of Life, which was, I know you haven't seen Life of Brian yet, but you have seen
Mm-hmm.
Holy Grail. Holy Grail, historical comedy. Life of Brian, historical comedy. This one is kind of historical, but it's, think about Monty Python going full out on the violence, full out on the sexuality, and making a grand sweeping statement about what it means to be alive. And it's just brilliant. It's just so fun. It's so brilliant. It's just a series of vignettes of sorts that are like loosely connected. It's like sketches, really, but they're connecting tissues or like different aspects of modern living, and they it's brutal in the way that it like criticizes Western society. It's so awful and violent when it comes to that. But there's
Okay.
some parts that are very serious in the film, and I took them very seriously, but the movie
Mm-hmm.
doesn't take itself seriously, like it's making fun of us and itself at the same time. And it's so funny. Um, yeah, Monty Python are great. I'm about to start writing a senior because we start on a senior project now at the end of the junior year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's a research project. And I'm thinking of starting one about the Monty Python films and their
Mm.
relevance. So yeah,
Hell yeah, that's really cool.
that's the meaning of life. It's great. Then
Nice.
to kind of to prepare for Persona for Autumn Sonata in a way, I watch Persona. Um,
Mm.
Ingmar Bergman film. Big blind spot, obviously, as a Bergman fan. But I've been waiting to see it in theaters, and it showed up in theaters. It was playing along with some kind of visual art like exhibit of sorts, and the director of the visual art thing was there, and it was a really awkward Q&A because everyone just came there to watch Persona, and like they just wanted to get it over with, and I kind of felt bad, but. Um, Persona's a masterpiece. I don't know what to like. Think if Autumn Sonata was the most experimental film you've ever seen with with um lesbian undertones and just about how two brains can meld into one. That's how I describe Persona.
Mm. Is Blue your
Um,
first time watching it?
yeah,
Okay.
it's a unsettling film, but it's also quite beautiful. Like most of Bergman's films, but it's missing that sense of reality that you see in Autumn Sonata and stuff like that. But it exists in its own, experimental fourth wall breaking. Like, it's so weird.
Gotcha.
It's so weird. I really recommend it. It's not the way to go though for if you when you want to continue with Bergman. I definitely recommend Seven Seal, that kind of stuff before because Personas. That was I don't know. Then I watched Challengers. I loved it. I think it's really good. I think it's really good, and everyone should go see Challengers because it just made me feel stuff. It just made me feel stuff, and
It made you
not
feel
only sexual,
stuff.
not only sexually, like, and not only horny. It's like actually like crazy. Like it's it's like it's like a ball in a court. It's like it's there's so many time jumps and so but it works. It's so messy and like sexy and hot and steamy, but it's all about the dynamics and the characters and the little things and like it appeals to a wide audience and to a small and to a like an art audience as well. And Josh O'Connor, Mike Feist, and Zendaya are at the top of their game. It like maybe the sexiest people
Mm-hmm.
working in Hollywood today,
Mm-hmm.
except for that one guy from Triangle of Sadness. Jesus Christ, he
Harris
should have been there.
Dickinson.
Yeah. Um, but though, except for that, Josh O'Connor, Mike Feist, and Zendaya are incredibly good-looking people. Luca
You can't
Guadagnino.
say you can't say Harris Dickinson's name without me having a meltdown because I will have a meltdown over that man.
Um, It's but guys, it's not just to go to it's not just to go see it in theaters and cream your pants. Like there are more like there's a lot to this movie. Um I thought it was brilliant. The only thing keeping it from being perfect for me was a little pacing issue and
Mm.
the fact that it's just like a preference thing when it comes to how um backstories are. I don't want to get into it because you
Yeah,
haven't
yeah,
seen
yeah.
it. But Luca Guadagnino, um, at the end of the film it says Luca Guadagnino. The title card shows up and says Luca Guadagnino's Challengers, and suddenly I felt this feeling that Luca Guadagnino is like suddenly become a staple. You know what I mean? He's
No,
very
he
he's someone to watch.
he
Someone to watch.
is. So I've seen Suspiria, I've seen Call Me by Your Name, and obviously we did Bones and All. I'm going to see
Yeah,
Challengers on Tuesday, so in 2 days
yeah.
from now. Um, I have to watch, yeah, so I have to watch
IMAX,
two other movies, not IMAX. I couldn't get
IMAX.
IMAX.
Sorry.
I have to watch two other of his movies, and I will have to watch his TV show, We Are Who We Are. But he is genuinely a visionary, and I think probably one of my favorite modern directors working.
Same.
He is so fantastic.
This is my favorite film of his so far.
Mm.
I'll just
And
put
you
that
know
out there.
what? I will say, another reason why I really like him is because he's not a director that writes his own stuff.
No. You know who wrote this film?
I know who wrote, yeah, of course I know who wrote it. Of course I know who wrote it.
I love it. I love it.
Crazy.
That
Crazy.
potion video was part of like my personality back in the day. Um, Luke Guadagnino, he also has this thing. It's like you know you have the female gaze and the male gaze, which is like a really talked about thing in cinema
Of
recently.
course.
You can tell you get a kind of homosexual gaze in a way. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's just very respectful, but it's also um a little like he's very sexually charged, and it's very it's very his films are very special type of horny, each one in its own way. And just the way he makes his characters eat, like specifically the men as well.
Yeah.
um
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the way they eat food in the movie, you'll see, we'll talk about it, but
The
I think
churro.
he's the churro, yeah, lots of phallic
I haven't seen the
foods are
banana one,
eaten.
but I've seen the churro one, and I've seen Mike Feist spit out the gum.
Um, he's really like Kubrickian. Like I would compare this to like some Stanley Kubrick shit, some Barry Lyndon. You
Really?
know what? Barry Lyndon in like the dynamic. I don't know how to
Oh,
some
okay.
Stanley Kubrick and a little bit of maybe like the grandness of what's his name? For the poor things.
Yorgo.
Yeah, a little bit in a weird way. Just
Mm-hmm.
definitely Kubrick. It's
Nice.
it's we I love Challengers. Sorry
I'm
for
so
going on
excited
about
to
that for
watch it.
so long, but yes, yes, my film of the year so far, guys.
Oh,
Anyways,
all right.
um, should we go? Should we do it? Should we
Let's
do it?
go. Let's do
All right.
it. Let's do it.
See you guys in the next segment. Let's go. Let's switch from summer or spring to autumn.
Autumn. All right. We'll see you in a moment.
Bye. All right, we're back. We're gonna talk about Autumn Sonata. I
Hell
have
yeah.
a I've I love this movie so much that I took out my uh notebook to write on because I didn't want to, it's not the kind of movie I want to be on my phone, but
Mm-hmm.
it's something about pulling out my phone to write notes pissed me off. And it was hard for me to write. I wrote most of my notes after the film. Um
Mm-hmm.
this is this is one of my favorites of all time. Um no no cap.
No cap.
No cap. 1978. Autumn Sonata was the only collaboration between cinema's two great Bergmans, Ingmar, the iconic director of The Seventh Seal, and Ingrid, the monumental star of Casablanca. The Grand Dame, playing an icy concert pianist, is matched beat for beat in ferocity by the filmmaker's recurring lead Liv Ullmann as her eldest daughter. Over the course of a day and a long, painful night that the two spent together after an extended separation, they finally confront the bitter discord of their relationship. This cathartic pas de deux, evocatively shot in burnished harvest colors by the great Sven Nykvist, ranks among Ingmar Bergman's major dramatic works. That's Autumn Sonata. Um,
Okay.
what a movie.
Before we
What a
get
fucking
into it,
movie. Yeah.
I want to say two things. So Ingrid and Ingmar are not related.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
That's just a popular Swedish last name.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, tell me why I just learned today that Ingrid Bergman's daughter is Isabella Rossellini.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And you
That's so
know who
cool.
her husband was, Roberto Rossellini, the
Yes.
director.
Yes.
And I love that. Um
I just but
what
looking at her in this movie makes sense because I when she was crying, I was like, "Oh my God, that's literally her in
Isabella?
Blue Velvet."
Are you there? Are you there,
Yeah.
Isabella? Yeah. Amazing. I love that there, I won't call her a Nepo baby because I actually love that there's
I mean,
uh
she's a
my
warranted
first
Nepo baby.
my first note was Bjork is in this. Yeah.
That's funny because I made that joke too.
Really?
Yeah. Great minds think alike, good sir.
Um I thought we could start a little about yeah, I think the best entry point for the film. is the performances
Okay, wait,
for discourse
before we
about them.
do that,
Yep.
because I do want to say, just in regards to the opening credits, I really
Oh, I love them.
like I really
That was
like
my
how
first.
they
That was my second note.
I really like how they list all the pieces of music that they used in the credits. I think that's genius, and more
People don't.
movies,
They don't do it enough.
they should take note because that
A
is
lot of people
fucking
no.
genius.
So a lot of it is very popular to do that at the end of the end credits, but I think they should put it in the beginning before people
Mm-hmm.
leave, so people can be like, "Oh, I like that song." Like they usually list it at the end, but like it's not. They don't give it as much attention
No,
as
they
Bergman
don't.
does with pieces because the pieces themselves and the choice of them are integral to
Of
the work and
course.
representative of the work. So. I love the opening credits. It's like this abstract
Mm-hmm.
color scheme of sorts
Yeah, it's like
with the operatic music. It's
very
very grand, very
autumnal.
yeah, and very luxurious in a way. I always love his font choice and his it's amazing. Um Opening credits. So I thought we could our entry point could be
Let's
Liv
go. Yeah,
Ullmann and Ingrid Bergman if we already mentioned them.
let's
Um
do it.
I'll start by saying I think there's acting in most movies, and then there's Ingrid Bergman and Liv Ullmann in Autumn Sonata. Like, what were you thinking
Wow.
about these monumental performances?
I was like not just I don't want to say blown away. It was like it was like I was stuck in like concrete or like quicksand, but not in like a bad way. Just because like
Paralyzing
yeah,
is a
I
word I
could
use a
not
lot in my
move.
notes.
hmm
Yeah,
They were so powerful.
yeah,
Oh my God. When Eva, right? That's how they say her name?
yeah.
When she was delivering
Eva,
her when she was delivering her like
Charlotte,
what?
Charlotte.
Oh. Never mind. I thought you said shallot. I thought you said shallot. Okay. But
And she was delivering.
when she was delivering her like whole spiel, and she starts getting like more and more aggressive and like towards the end like she's like
Yeah,
yelling, but not even like yelling, like you can tell it's like coming from like her diaphragm, like from the bottom
yeah.
of her heart, her chest, like she has to get this out. She has to say her piece. Like, oh my, I felt it. I felt it in my bones. It was so powerful. Oh,
There's the part where she starts sounding like a little girl, when she starts
mm-hmm.
crying like a little girl, and she's calling out her mother and saying all this stuff, and that's like she really got to the deepest depths of that character. I think Ingrid Bergman is it's this kind of late career performance, kind of like Marlon Brando in The Last Tango. It's a career ending beast of a performance as this motherly figure. Um, she just the little tricks she put, especially in the beginning of the film with her little melodramas when she's kind of talking to herself and the kind
Yeah.
of the camera, but not really. She's kind of talking to herself. She's so composed, and like the way she switches
Mm-hmm.
from opening up about something about her grief, and then closes right back up and becomes a stern. And but she's always a distance from you just a little, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the same with Liv Ullmann as well because like her husband says it, she kind of has this gray film of depression over her at all times, and you look into her eyes, and Liv Ullmann does something with her eyes where they look so empty and
Yes.
tired,
Yes.
so tired
Yes.
and sad. Um,
And I think the most we see that a lot, like when she's talking to her mother, or not when she's talking to her mother, when she's listening to her mother, and when she's talking about
mm,
all these things she did for like these other people, and how, like her going and composing and working with all these influential people and working with children. And like to me, like that was kind of like her facial expressions, her eyes, um, that was kind of like her trying to convey why wasn't that me, you
Yeah.
know?
It's
Like,
it's heartbreaking. It's their heartbreaking performances. The eye work, especially
oh,
Ingrid
so
Bergman's eyes become so red, and Liv
mm-hmm.
my friend pointed this out, how red her eyes get and how Liv Ullmann's blue eyes contrast with that as well. Because her eyes
Yes.
don't really get red when she cries. It was something else. And I think the scene, well, okay, we'll get to the piano scene and all that, but I
Mm-hmm.
think the piano scene as the crux, as the heart of the film, is also the best showcase of their acting, the
Yes. Yes.
most impressive part of their acting, because it is so subtle, because it is so representative and evocative of their relationship, because of the effect the music has on them, and the work with their eyes and their anyways, so Monumental. I think the standout the first time I watched it, I was watching Ingrid Bergman a lot and little things she does. I mentioned to my friend, there's parts where she's talking to every time she's talking to Eva, she's like picking at her sweater for like lint, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like she's not with us. She's like in her own like world, aestheticized world in her
Yep.
own. She's not um but we'll get to her kind of not psychopathy, but her kind of to a certain extent her unfeeling side later, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. But I just think her performance is fucking brilliant. I, hands down, Liv Ullmann and Ingrid are some of the best performances I've ever seen in my life,
I agree.
for sure.
I can't
And everyone
believe that
says that.
I can't believe that Ingrid Bergman didn't win an Oscar for this.
Yeah. And they had to memorize everything. Think about the rehearsal process for that shit. Insane,
Intense.
insane, intense. That rehearsal project. I'm there's a 3.5 hour documentary on this disc of the making of 3.5 hours.
Really?
I'm looking forward to watching that.
Yeah.
I will sit down and watch that because that is fascinating stuff. How these actors, just the other day, yeah, 2 days ago, I was in a short film
Mm-hmm.
and I was acting. It was the most intense like acting I've ever done. I played a kid like a someone that this teenager that strangles a girl at the end that he loves and all that. Um, something really upsetting. Um, it wasn't a good screenplay or anything, but um, but I really put my all into the character. And when I was watching this, I was like,
So what you're saying is that
there
you're Ingmar Bergman
no,
or
not
Ingrid Bergman.
Ingmar.
Ingrid. Sorry.
No, I was just thinking like it's so incredibly hard to get in and out of character, like in acting performances in film. And how do you shoot something like this? Like, how do you do that? That is
No,
crazy.
I'm sure that they had to take like after filming, they had to have separated themselves from each other, you know?
Yeah,
Because if I was in their position and I was playing this daughter or this mother with such complicated with such a complicated relationship and such harsh feelings towards each other, like I would not be able to look at her.
but that's the
Um,
thing. The Bergman casts were famously very close to each other. Famously, they
yeah.
were all friends. Um, Also, by the way, Liv Ullmann is a stunning human. She's so pretty,
Mm,
and so is
mm-hmm.
Ingrid Bergman. They're so beautiful. Liv Ullmann in persona looks great here. Her character is just so stripped down and tired of herself that it's kind of hard to see her beauty, but they are very beautiful people. Anyways, he films all of his films on Bergman Island, famously
Mm-hmm.
he films most of his films in this island, which is his muse. Liv Ullmann was his muse and all that, but also the island and this location. So they're all clumped up on this island. Bergman is there directing them around. I'm sure they shot a lot of more scenes than what's in the film, but they were
Mm-hmm.
together for a long time. I'm sure that's such a difficult, yeah. But yeah, do you wanna start? Do you wanna start? No, no,
Honestly, like I don't really have like individualized like notes, if that makes sense.
it makes sense.
Um, but I do want to talk about there's a few things I want to talk about, and one is the sister.
Hannah,
What?
yeah, Hannah.
Isn't it Helena?
Oh, Helena. No, I wrote Hannah for some reason, but I think it's
I
it's
wrote
probably Helena.
Helena.
You're probably right. You're probably right. Ignore me.
Okay.
Yes.
Um, so her story to me is so interesting.
Mhm.
So basically, Eva blames her mother
Her mom
for what happened to her.
for I guess a spike in the illness and
Yeah.
why it's so extreme.
Do we ever
Putting
find
someone in
out
a
what the
home?
illness is?
No.
Okay.
Putting someone in a home um can be a very harsh thing, but it was also it also has something to do with Leonardo, who is Ingrid's lover
Yes.
that passes
Yes.
away before the runtime of the film, who kissed
Yes.
Helena and kind of kept her going with some kind of romantic
Mm-hmm.
tension between them. She was really in love with. You see this frame, it's one of my favorite frames of the movie because of the lighting and all that, but you see how she looks at him and the the lighting choice to light her with this like he
Yeah,
is
yeah,
lighting
yeah.
her. Obviously there's this candle, but you have the lights, the white light streaming in from the windows, which is reflecting on her, and then you have the this soft light that he's illuminating her with, and she says this is the first like she looked like she wasn't ill at all. She was in love with him so much that she was perfectly healthy. um yeah, it's a heartbreaking, you know the she
I
she kind of, yeah.
no, I just in the beginning of the movie I was confused because if I was like, oh, like I just want to let you know, like Helena's here. And I was like, Helena, who is this? Who is this? Is this like
Helena who?
yeah, I was like, who is this? Is it a sister? Is it a cousin? Is it like a
That's
stepmom?
what,
I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
And then they revealed it was a sister. And then it's so heartbreaking when you realize that, like, oh my God, it's her other daughter. And oh my God, she told Eva, I wish you would have warned me that she's here. And then Eva was like, but you wouldn't have come if I told you. Like, that is heartbreaking.
Stop it, Ogie. Jesus Christ. Do you hear him?
I can't hear him, but I can imagine what
He's
he's
meowing.
doing.
He's meowing. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. Her mother, Charlotte doesn't like. There's this motif that repeats with her character where she doesn't like sick people. She
Mm-hmm.
doesn't like sickness. She doesn't want to catch a cold. She hasn't caught a cold. She stays away from sick people, and she hates her daughter. She's scared of her, and she doesn't know how to react to her and her new disabilities. And it's heartbreaking near the end of the film, when the big conversation
Yeah.
happens,
And
when
she's like
she's
crawling.
she crawls out on the floor and she's calling for her mom. She's calling for her mama. And that's after Charlotte leaves as well. Do you hear him?
I heard that one, yeah.
Ogie, stop. I'm not letting you outside. And she's calling for her mama. And it's so sad
Mm-hmm.
because you can see what this has done to her and what her fucked up relationship with her mother has done to her and her illness and how she reacts to the world around her is, through all the sickness and all that, you can really
Mm-hmm.
see this human longing for a mother figure, and it's really heartbreaking with Helena. Um,
So sad.
yeah. But Ava, Ava took Helena in. She does everything
Mm-hmm.
for her and for continuing the family. And it's just she's a really strong woman for that.
Very strong, yeah.
But yeah, Helena is a heartbreaking character. Um, I
Um,
wrote,
oh
yeah.
wow. That jump
What?
of time.
What?
No, no, go ahead. Don't worry about it.
Why? Stop being on Twitter.
No, I'm not.
Bergman, what did you
I said the
um
jump of time of our recording.
why were we jumping in time and recording?
No, I'm saying because last time I checked the time, it said 27 and now it says 47.
Okay. Um, so Bergman, one of the first flashbacks in the film is to a hospital, and he really likes hospitals as like a space to explore his characters. And you have these vignettes of Charlotte sitting with Leonardo in the hospital, a location where his characters are weak, where people are weak at their weakest in the hospitals. In Persona, there's a hospital, and it's kind of dynamic, the fact that Charlotte was caring for someone in a way, but it's not her daughter, it's her lover, her third husband, something like that. So I think his use of hospitals are interesting, where people are at their weakest. I totally forgot about the whole fourth wall breaking aspect of this. What
Mm-hmm.
were you thinking? Because the first thing that happens is the husband breaks the fourth wall.
Okay, it definitely caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting it.
Same, I forgot. I forgot it happens.
Um, yeah, honestly, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe like it'll click with me more if I were to rewatch it, but like he's commenting on his wife. Sorry.
Yeah. the
Um,
the husband always takes this like kind of exterior kind of perspective to his wife. Like he's not like directly involved with him, but he's constantly psychoanalyzing her, not only to the camera but to her mom.
mm-hmm.
And he has this whole monologue about Eva and everything she deals with and her depression and all that, but he never really directly, you know?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and like make an assumption here, but um he's a priest or something?
He's some kind of minister.
Yeah, he's
I don't know
some
what
sort
that
of
means.
religious a low-ranking religious
Definitely.
guy in
You
the
can't have a
church.
Bergman film without some kind of religious
That makes
thing.
sense. But like it's
He's really,
notorious.
yeah,
No, he's really what?
he's constantly, I mean, Bergman's most troubling relationship was with God, for
Okay.
sure. He was a
Because
very troubled soul, for sure.
I was gonna say that this kind of like reminds me a little bit of like how like Fleabag is obviously like the way the fourth
Mm.
wall break works. But clearly like
Yeah.
you can kind of see that notoriously throughout life and especially in like religion and like I don't want to comment on like other religions because I'm not super familiar, but like with Christianity, like notorious for like um super uncommunicative, don't speak to each other about issues, don't talk things through.
Mm.
Um, especially for um people that partake in church, if that makes sense. Like are actually like
Yeah.
part of the church,
Yeah.
not people that go to church, people that are
Yeah.
working there, priests, nuns, altar boys, high ranking, low ranking, whatever. So I think that
Yeah.
probably also has something to do with it, the fact that like there's definitely this
It's
presence
definitely a
of
very
God and
Christian.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a
And
very
it's hard
Christian.
to articulate their feelings and what they really want to say and they only really do that indirectly,
Yep. And
especially man and wife.
it's not just the mother character that's causing the awfulness of the
No,
situation.
it's
It's
not.
also the husband, and it's also the culture
Yeah.
and this 7 year gap. This 7 years where they didn't see each other and no one spoke, and how that can and how a gap like that can affect people. But it's also the location and also how they interact. It's not just the mother, that's all, and also Eva is not perfect in herself,
No.
she's yeah. She also makes interesting choices in her relations to other. Um, I wrote, it's amazing how the mother can switch so fast from being emotionally vulnerable to being closed off and talking about non-important things and like banal things that have nothing to do. Like the chocolates that she has, like they go from to like the first
Mm-hmm.
half of this film is kind of melodramatic. It's kind of
Yeah.
passive aggressive. It's all about little quips and little
Yep.
passive aggressive pokes at one another.
Which is
And
very
then
mother-daughter like. As someone who
yeah,
obviously is a
yeah,
daughter and has a
you tell
mother,
me.
like
Yeah.
that is very natural in a
Hmm.
relationship because obviously like when you have two women and usually most of the time like women can be pretty headstrong. So you got two um like clashing brains, clashing heads, whatever. And moms are always in the mode of like, okay, like things have to be this way, things have to be perfect. Like I have to like
Yep.
nitpick and criticize, and even if they don't realize it, they're doing it. They're always nitpicking and criticizing their kids, especially their daughters. It's just a thing.
Which isn't, it's just a
It's
thing that
just what
happens.
happens.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that
Um,
there's going to be those passive aggressive quirks and quips because
yeah.
it's like that. My mom and I are like that.
Especially with so much I hope you don't have so much pent up resentment
No,
to your
not
mother.
no, not like this. Are you kidding?
Kidding. But you know, it is, especially with the pent up anger
Yeah,
amplifying everything. It's very melodramatic. It's kind of there's kind of a light tone that the movie takes in the beginning. It's kind of light in that like it's
a
kind of
little
goofy
bit.
seeing Ingrid Bergman talk to herself and being like, "Oh, I'm so upset that I came here,"
Yeah, yeah,
and all
yeah.
that. It's kind of slowly easing you into it while the sun is still up in a way. Um, and then they sit down for dinner and starts and yeah, she Eva starts talking to her husband about her mom, and then her mom starts talking to her husband about Eva, and there's this whole the husband is like a vessel that they talk shit about each other with,
Mm-hmm.
and again this disconnect that they can't like meet each other in a way.
Yeah.
um she One of the throwaway lines that a lot of people mention is about talking to her husband while they're setting the table, and she says as like part of a joke, she says, "Don't we ever stop being mother and daughter?"
Mm.
And that's the tagline really for me.
Mm-hmm.
um I think it's and then her husband says being an adult is moving is knowing to manage your hopes and your dreams. And I thought that was an interesting sentence. There's so many interesting sentences and quotes that I didn't write down because I was so paralyzed by
I
this
got
movie
one.
basically grabbing you and pulling your spine out. But that was an interesting line for me. Yeah.
One of the quotes I wrote down that this is like, oh my God, whenever she goes, Eva, do you like me? And then Eva goes, you're my mother. And then she goes, well, that's one way of answering. And I was like,
Hmm.
it's like the same as when someone asks like, um, oh, do you like me? Of course I love you. No, no, no. Do you like me?
Yeah.
Hits the same, hits the same. You've never heard of
I get what you, yeah, I get this. I think I think the beginning of this film is really all about that dynamic, all about that. Like they're kind of testing out the playing field before they go and start the game in a way. Because I feel like second time around, I really felt the imminent nature of this dialogue that has to happen.
Yeah.
Um, and just the kind of tension that builds in a way. I forgot just how the beginning of the film thrives in like a space between light and melancholy and like spiteful until the piano scene, which comes like
Mm-hmm.
40 minutes, something like that in the film. What were your thoughts on that scene?
I mean, okay. First of all, the music itself was just so beautiful.
Mhm.
Um, but I think I was mostly transfixed on the way Eva was looking at her mother.
That's a that that but there's a medium shot of Charlotte for like around a minute, and then
Yes,
Ava we see for like a solid 2 minutes, something like that, just watching her mom play.
just watch and you can see the cogs turning. You can see like
Seeing this a second time, I knew everything that I could
mm-hmm.
guess every single, like she goes through an entire journey while her
Yep.
mom plays the piano. It's
Yep.
so brilliant how Liv Ullmann acts this. Like as her mom is playing the piano, you see that I can see every single thought that's running through her mind.
Mm-hmm.
I got it. I could tell what she was thinking.
And I'm sure, I'm so positive that the music brought up memories from her childhood and listening and hearing her mom play the piano over and over and over again, but then not making any time for her own daughter and not wanting to spend time with her own daughter and be a mother to her. Like it's really heartbreaking.
The shot that summarizes the film for me is
Hmm.
the piano. There's this shot of Ingrid facing this way and
Yes, yes, yes.
Liv facing the camera. Um, and it looks like Eva is like fighting to get eye contact from her mother. Just a little
Yes.
glance over while she's playing the piano, like normal people do. But her mother is involved in her own internal world and only looks down at the piano as Eva is staring right at her face.
And part
And
of
and
you
this
is like, "Oh, is she gonna look? Is she gonna look now? Is she gonna take a little
yeah,
peek? Oh, nope.
only Bergman is able it can make us a 2 minute shot of someone looking at someone playing piano such a dramatically intense
Ugh.
scene. Like I transfixing like and so dramatically important. The way that Charlotte approaches helping Eva like teaching. So Eva plays from this like Charlotte says sentimental place from her heart when she's playing the Chopin piece.
Mm-hmm.
She's you can tell as she plays how it's coming from. It's kind of like it's not perfect time-wise, but you can definitely tell that she's playing from the heart and from something deep within her. In that, you can really tell more about her character who's more sentimental and in touch with her feelings,
Mm-hmm.
kinda, in a way.
Yeah.
Um, and Charlotte doesn't come from that kind of place of sentiment because she fixes her by telling her about Chopin. She tells her about Chopin's approach, and the mental state he was in, how he's emotional, not sentimental. And she tries to mirror specifically in a detailed way how Chopin would want his piece to be played, or how Chopin would play his piece. And that's how Charlotte plays it. And this kind of has something to do with Charlotte's disconnect with her own emotions and how
Mm-hmm.
she, you know, is she gets Chopin. She's in touch with Chopin's emotions, but not her own sentiments and her own emotions, like Ava is about to be, and like Ava is when she's playing that piece.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Charlotte plays it in with a little more finesse, a little more beauty. Um, but there's something about her approach to the piano playing, which is really important, and the way Bergman films it with her face partially obscured and Charlotte's entire face there. She's there with her entire heart, and Charlotte piano, Charlotte piano, Charlotte piano, Ava Charlotte.
And you can tell like that's what she lacks, you know. She
Yeah,
lacks that that love that Eva has, and what Eva wants reciprocated.
yeah. Um, the lack of eye contact is a big thing.
Hmm.
Constantly, they're not looking each other in the eyes. Like it seems like Charlotte can't talk to Ava for a prolonged amount of time before she stands up and starts walking around and all that. Her
It's
face is
almost
away from
like
her.
it's like almost like they're embarrassed, but
Yeah. Yeah. It's very real to how these characters would react. I know it's your first Bergman film.
hmm.
What do you think of his blocking and his cinematography, like how he approaches the cinematography and his framing? Because it's special. He's not like other girls.
Of course he's not like other girls. And you can tell, and I think and okay, I'm first of all, just to say, I'm very excited to keep going on my Bergman experience because I know he has a lot to offer, so I'm excited to see everything.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
think like the reason why like I was so hooked, and I think one of the reasons why I was so hooked was because a lot of his cinematography and the way he frames things and films things is very different from any director. Like you said, he's not like
Yeah.
other girls.
Also,
Like,
shout out to Sven Nykvist. Great work. He's really
I
good.
was like, what do you mean? Yeah.
Cinematography.
Um, I feel like okay, I was so I was paying so much attention to like the story and their like connections and stuff that like I
Yeah.
wasn't 100% like paying attention to like all of the technical aspects of like the
Mhm.
cinematography and stuff and like the framing, but obviously like the piano that whole scene, the framing is genius. Um and there are certain shots that I have in my head that I when I look at them and I see them,
They really
yeah,
burn into your memory.
they really stick out, and he's clearly a master.
Yeah. Um, what's special about him is that he mastered the art of faces, of
Mm-hmm.
filming the human face. I feel that he has a full understanding it feels like he understands the human face and our anatomy so well. And our psychology as well. Never is a director so as close to his character as Bergman is, um, because you feel that this writer and director has such an intense understanding of the characters he's filming. And that's just by the framing and the blocking. It's so intricate. In the beginning, they move around a lot, and it's a lot of back and forth and a lot of kinetic kind of energy. And then it slows down, and then you get those famous Bergman close-ups,
Mm-hmm.
unrelenting, insanely close. Like this is us like the comfortable. Oh my God, I have eye boogers. This is like the average, frame you'd get in Autumn Sonata.
I
Unrelenting. Yeah.
sorry, I just want to say that like the scenes where Eva is drinking the wine and like he's getting really up close and personal, like those were some of my favorite shots. It was so beautiful. And then you can like really tell that like she's nervous in those scenes, the way that she's just like drinking the wine and picking up the
Yeah.
glass, and how she kind of has to have like a little alcohol in her system to be able to get the words out because otherwise she would
But
never
she's
say
about to get
anything.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I think Bergman realized that the most beautiful thing he could put his camera on and film, as much as the natural landscapes of his islands are beautiful
It's the
and
people.
um is is faces. It's the
Yeah.
people. I mean, he has no problem staring at at a character's face and trying to constantly understand them. It's like this constant search for up close, intimate understanding with a character, and the most beautiful, interesting, intricate thing is the face of a human being. And I think that kind of mentality going into filmmaking is what makes him a master. Um, so Night Falls and Charlotte Has a Dream, which is one of the
Mm.
most terrifying nightmare scenes I've ever seen. You see these hands creeping on her. They're Ava's hands, I
Were
think.
they?
I That's how I
I
read
thought
it.
they
That's
were
how I always read it.
Helena's.
Or maybe Helena's. Definitely one of her daughters. That she fears both of them equally, kind of. Um, and someone tries choking her with a pillar with the pillow.
Pillow. Pillow.
What do you think of that? What do you think of that dream? Shut up.
No, it was terrifying. Um and the reason why I thought it was Helena was because I've developed this more after the movie. But I feel like she's more scared of Helena physically and like you said,
Yeah,
sickness and all that, and how she probably thinks that Helena could be capable of hurting her in that sense. Which is why I don't,
she's worried. She's worried because she's unpredictable. Because
yeah,
she's not in the same. She's not like Eva in that she'll just take whatever she does and like fucking be her
which is why
bitch.
I
You know.
don't think it's Eva.
Mm.
But no, it's like suffocating that scene. You're watching it and you're like, "Oh my God, like is she actually
Bergman films
getting
are usually. This is a horror film in its own right. Bergman's films are horrifying, and he does have horror movie. He does those flat out horror movies like The Magician,
Mm-hmm.
um, that are supposed to be really scary. So
Well, I
he
will
does
be
have a way
watching that.
of scaring you. So in the beginning, the husband is there as a vessel for Eva to complain about Charlotte to and Charlotte to ask questions about her daughter to, but now he's sleeping and they must talk to one another. And the light colors of the daytime and autumn are gone. And Charlotte has a dream, and Eva is downstairs for a cup of water or a cup of wine. Um, and even with all the pain Charlotte caused her, Eva still pours wine into her cup and Charlotte's cup once
Mm-hmm.
the dialogue starts. It's kind of they're about to start their tennis match.
Yeah. Oh.
Sorry. Um, they're about to start their match. And this I didn't really write anything for the last leg of this movie because it's one of the most paralyzing,
Mm-hmm.
real and dramatic things you'll ever watch. What were you thinking during this scene? This like almost hour long scene.
I was just like blown away.
Yeah.
I have never seen something so riveting on screen before. Like I
For sure.
was like I couldn't move because I was like, "Oh my God, I need to know what's going to happen, what they're going to say, what they're going to do. Are they going to hurt each other? Are they going to make up? Um, are they going to start throwing things? Like what's going to happen?" Like fuck.
Um, it's difficult to talk about because it's emotions that we don't really talk about
Mhm.
ever because it's so personal because it's sometimes it feels like it's such an uncomfortable watch, such a hard movie to watch
It
because
is.
you
It
feel
is.
like you're actively there with them so much and you're in this intimate personal conversation you shouldn't be looking at.
Yeah.
um and I think that's really powerful filmmaking right there. I mean, just how speechless we both are right now indicates the nature of the conversation. If you guys have seen the film, you've seen the film, you know what we're talking about, but it is very hard to speak about. Um, all I can talk about is technically it's perfect. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the lighting is brilliant and inspired, the framing, the way he looks at the faces, the zooms, the slow pacing of it, how the how Bergman reveals information is really interesting in this movie. How he reveals Helena. We didn't talk about the child, the presence of the dead, drowned child is really important here and looms on the whole film.
Mm-hmm.
How he reveals Helena, how he reveals the child, how he reveals each thing, how he reveals about the abortion,
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Ava's childhood. What we can't talk about is the flashbacks.
yeah.
What do you think of those flashbacks? Oh, I love
It's
them.
it okay, yeah. It's so sad. Everything is
Yeah.
so sad.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh my God. And I love how they're not super drawn out either. Like it's
No,
it's not like the flashbacks are super super long. And I did enjoy seeing her with her
but
father.
it's enough to sear certain images into your
Mm.
head.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, Eva looking at the mirror is obviously
Yeah.
the poster.
Hmm.
Um, but also the images with your father,
That those
the
were
str
those were little very 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 tiny small tender moments that we saw where they give each other
which
like
means
little
a lot, which
smiles.
means a lot for this kind
Yeah.
of film. I think the flashbacks are the most beautiful
Mm-hmm.
paintingly shots of the film.
Yes, yes, yes.
This one especially, um, because everything else is so up close and I love the approach to the memories where he's farther away and you see in vivid detail everything about the rooms, everything about, but the actors kind of sit still and move like dolls in a
Mm-hmm.
way. It's so interesting, those flashbacks. I love the slow crossfades between the past and the present, and this constant push and pull between memory and how these memories have affected Eva. You can really see why she feels how she feels. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and in the present, you see you know, Charlotte's red eyes and Eva's blue ones and the tears and the words that are exchanged. And for the first time, you really get a full scope. I finished this film so happy with the amount of character I got out of it. You got so much character and I feel like I know these. It's a real you really go on a journey with them in a way because in it in it feel like you go on a journey with them.
Oh my God. I was waiting for you to say something after because I thought you were saying in it, not in it. So I'm waiting for you to finish. Oh my God.
I'm sorry, I
Yes.
shouldn't have interjected a British. Yeah,
You know
it's
what? You
it's
should next time put the accent on.
in it,
In
but that's
it.
kind of how I did it. In it,
Yeah, there we go.
um, I you really go on a journey with them, and I feel like I understand these characters at their cores, and I mean, we can obviously praise the screenplay for this thing, for that.
Would would you want her as your mother?
No, I think I'm good. I think I'm
Yeah.
happy with the one I got. Um,
Oh, that's so sweet.
I'm curious, and you don't have to share, but did were you reflecting a little about your relationship with your mother?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Not like to their level, but
Hmm.
no, it definitely like made me think about my relationship with my mom and
Same,
my dad. Um
same.
and the way I view their behavior and the way they treat me and everything, you know, it makes you really think. It makes you think.
I'll be honest, I was thinking about my mom and her mom
Mm.
because
Oh, I also thought about that too. I thought about my mom and her grandma. I mean, and
there's
my grandma,
her
sorry.
mom um because there's something about they're of that generation
Yeah.
technically, right? So
Yeah.
it's that specific 70s generation, and this kind of cycles that were formed and that have been dismantled with this new kind of approach to parenting. Parenting has definitely changed over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And with a new, more progressive parenting style where the parent talks to their child a little bit more. I feel like I've experienced that personally, and I'm a much better person for it.
Of course.
Um, but it's good to get a reminder sometimes the importance of communication. Not that that's the only thing this film is about, but
Communication
um,
is key.
imagery of an uncut umbilical cord, I think is fascinating. I love it. She says that Eva says it's like the umbilical cord was never cut. Did you catch
Mm-hmm.
that?
When did she say that?
During their conversation at one point, I don't
Okay.
remember, but I just think it's a really striking piece of imagery. Um, Not only is birth the most evocative thing you can mention in your film about mother-daughter relationships, because well, what a relationship with one's mother is probably one of the most intense relationships you could have, in that you came out of that person. Um, so physically, it's a big deal. And the umbilical cord, you're connected to that person as well when you come out of them. And when she says the umbilical cord is never cut, it kind of speaks to the relationship and how they're stuck with each other.
Yeah.
Um, and I just thought that's a really striking piece of imagery. Did you have any? And then Hannah crawling and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It's really sad.
I'm trying to check my
We
notes. Oh, the
Do you have
last thing I
anything
wanted to
else?
talk about.
Because
One more thing. The ending and how
oh
she
yeah, and the
writes to her mom
ending.
again.
Yeah, I'm gonna cry. Seriously.
I Part of me is like, this is why these relationships are so complicated because one part of me is like, no, don't write to your mom. But the other part of me is like, yes, write to her and make up with her because you still have time left. You still have a relationship like there. But then it's oh my God, so complicated.
It's the very ending is them in like some kind of white void, looking each other for the first time straight in the eyes. And it's one of the most beautiful endings ever, in my opinion. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this final euphoric, I guess hopeful in a way,
Yeah.
feel that they see each other eye to eye for the first time. I think it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a beautiful ending. And then, he ties it all up and the letter is closed and shipped, and that's the end. This scene behind you as well is very interesting. What do you think of the graveyard monologue? So you can hear the letter or whatever when she contemplates suicide in a way.
That like I she doesn't deserve that. She doesn't
No,
deserve to go through everything she's going through. And she's not even old. She's young. She's really young. And the fact that she's contemplating suicide and like talking about killing herself because of her mother and like their relationship and the strain is putting on her and her life and
but also her son, and
yeah.
that's the most tragic, tragic, tragic thing. Outliving your offspring is
Hmm.
terrifying and
That's
heartbreaking.
usually but that's what see that's
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 enough.
the
That's enough to break someone.
But that's the difference
and
between Eva and what's her name again? Catherine?
Charlotte.
Charlotte, thank you. I don't know why I was thinking Catherine. Charlotte. Whereas Eva is heartbroken and destroyed over the fact that she outlived her son. Charlotte wouldn't I don't think Charlotte would bat an eye if one of her daughters died. She wouldn't care.
Well, she
Okay,
wants them to die in a way, doesn't she?
yeah.
She says it many times in the train scene near the end as well.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish she would die. That's what she says about Helena. Could you imagine?
Say that about your own daughter.
And she's talking to this guy in the train, and it's like, okay, like, how about you talk to your daughter again?
Another
I think
guy
it's
for her to, yeah.
yeah.
She clearly values that a lot.
Um, I wrote a little thing, and then we'll get to ratings.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is what I wrote for Letterboxd on my trusty old journal. Thank you, Leia Pei, for getting me this a few
Thank you,
years
Leia
back.
Leia
And
Pei.
Leia Pei. Right. A husband speaks to us, a letter is sent, a car arrives, a sick sister, a drowned son, and Eva, drowning in seas of unspoken grievances. And Charlotte, too caught up in her love affairs with Chopin, Leonardo, Mozart, Paul, Joseph, and the ivory keys of her instrument. A quip here and there, a sly passive-aggressive micro-confrontation. Grief casts its shadow through the orange sun setting. In come the feelings. Pictures of lost ones, a dream of suffocation, the boiling frustration simmering in Ava's eyes, and her mother's, a daughter's hatred, a mother's obsession, an uncut umbilical cord. Indescribable emotions are described, and ancient quarrels become paralyzingly current. Hannah drags her weight across the floor. Help me, Mama, help me. No forgiveness can be found within the tragic and beautiful combination of mother and daughter. No mercy. Only hope that one day a cycle will be broken and we can look each other in the eyes once again.
That was so good. That was
Thank
so
you.
good.
That's for Autumn Sonata, cause that movie means that much to me.
Beautiful.
Um,
Beautiful.
thank you. Um, I'm you want to go go to ratings?
Sure. I
All
have
right.
to do my own drafting of this later. Um,
We'll see. Check out Meli's Letterboxd review. It's gonna be a banger.
I hope so. God. Um, anyways, I give this a 5, obviously.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
The, the rating is so high on Letterboxd. It's like a five. It's like a 4 point something,
Yeah,
four
rightfully
point
so.
five
How can
something.
you give this anything less than a 5?
Yeah, it's not one that you can rate lowly.
Mm-mm.
And let's see what the half-star reviews are.
Oh, okay. I'm curious.
No reviews. Oh wait, no, that's sorry. That was only my friends. Sorry.
Oh,
There are half-star reviews. Okay, this one's long, so I don't want to read it. I guess she actually has. This is has to be the worst film of all time. No action, nothing interesting to keep your attention, just useless, boring dialogue. I hate this so much. I want to resurrect Ingmar Bergman from the dead so he can go to jail for this. And that's the Spidey YT.
what are his top 4? I'm curious.
Okay, get ready. Get ready.
All right, I'm ready.
Oh, well, in May of 2022, he became inactive. This account will be inactive from now on. Okay.
Hmm.
Oh, half a star for Parasite as well. So boring, not funny, fun, and not funny or fun, and the action was terrible. And
Wait,
why can't you have that? Why can't you have the actor speak in English?
no way, no way, no way, no way.
Top four from the Spidey YT. Logan, at number one. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness at number two. Number three, you got Avengers Endgame. And number four, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. There you go. We found a real gem here on the half star page.
Wow. Wow, I am blown away. Thank you for that. Spidey Whitey or whatever the fuck.
Never know if I'm going to love or hate Berg fucking men. Sorry. Um, that was from another half star review. Yeah, fuck you. 5 stars. Should we get to your pick?
Let's do it.
Let's go. I'm really
Wow.
excited to see how you follow up this one.
We haven't had an episode this long in a really long time.
Goes to show.
All right. So, as I was telling Yoav, this movie that I'm choosing is very different. It completes 180, as you might say. All right. This movie is new. Came out newer, I should say. 2021 was the year it came out. I've been wanting to watch this movie for a long time. Um, and basically, it's the 2021 movie directed by Sean Baker, Red Rocket.
You
Um,
really got straight to the choice
yeah,
on
I
that
did.
chase on that one.
Um, Here's a little
Yay!
synopsis. Finding himself down and out in Los Angeles, ex-porn star
Woo!
Mikey Saber decides to crawl back to his hometown of Texas City, Texas, where his estranged wife and mother-in-law are living. Just as his dysfunctional family seems to be making things work, Mikey meets a young woman named Strawberry working the cash register at a local donut shop.
It seems amazing. I've heard such great things.
Me
Oh, I love
too.
this. I love this for our logical progression of the thank you. Great. And Sean Baker has his new film coming out
And that's why I picked
soon.
it because he has a new film coming out and I wanted
Classic.
this will be
Amazing.
the third, I mean, this is only his third feature film, I want to say, but
Yeah.
um that will be three for three for me when I watch Red Rocket because I've seen his other two movies.
Looking forward to
Um
it. For
thanks
a
y
movie based on the phrase used for a dog having an erection. Seems interesting.
Yup.
Like,
Anyways,
uh, do you think this would make a great double feature with Mikey and Nikki? Not Red Rocket, Autumn Sonata. Wouldn't that make a great double feature?
mm, meh. They're very different.
You're right, you're right. But you know, the argument and all that.
Okay, that yes, but different.
The fact it takes place in one night
It's true.
and the acting
Um,
and all that. Sorry.
but I just want to say,
Yes, right pick.
Yoav, thank you to Yoav for finally getting me to watch a Bergman film.
No
I
problem.
am very happy about this.
It's my
Yeah,
pleasure. It's my pleasure. Thank you for watching and rating
yeah,
it 5 stars.
of course.
Might be one of the best, what might be one of the best, in my opinion, movies out there. So,
It definitely
yes.
hits.
So thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry if this was too long. And yeah,
Yeah,
watch Challengers in theaters
watch Challengers, baby.
and watch Red Rocket, for my own
Mm-hmm.
opinion. And if you don't watch,
We'll strap you to
I'll
a red rocket
strap. Oh,
and then
we'll
tickle
put you on.
you.
Yeah,
And
I was gonna say.
then we'll
Funny,
blast you
funny.
off into space where you'll be tickled by aliens.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Bye, guys.
Do you want